Hi everybody, this is Dee at Aloha Astro. We're taking a look at a full moon in Leo that's occurring on Wednesday, February 12th, 2025 at 8, I believe it's 35 in the morning. And let's just pull out the chart there and check. So it will be at 8:53 a.m. and the moon and the sun both will be at 24 degrees 6 minutes of the fixed fire sign of Leo. So let's take a look at the forecast. I love this picture, by the way. I think griffins are pretty cool. Full moon in Leo, Wednesday, February 12th, has an electrifying and galvanizing effect on society and your personal life in whatever houses, areas of life in your natal chart are being activated by today's lunation in the fire sign of Leo, engaged in a fixed T-square aspect pattern with the Sun and Mercury in the air sign of Aquarius and Uranus in the earth sign of Taurus. Your questions and concerns about values, money, security, and what actions you might have to take to protect yourself, your loved ones, and anything you possess materially as you are faced with a rapidly changing present and an unknown future will occupy your mind. Stress and anxiety can be controlled by seeking accurate information and making contingency plans with those you trust. Chiron in Aries, sextile to the Sun and Mercury, and trine to the Moon, delivers a warrior, leader, healer archetype you can embody to increase your courage, creativity, and self-sufficiency. Many people will be seeking and finding the truth, resulting in rapid perspective shifts. Perhaps you will be an agent of conversion for someone. At the most basic level, this full moon creating tension between the passionate warmth of Leo and the intellectual detachment of Aquarius presents an opportunity to act with emotional intelligence rather than egotistical impulsivity when faced with people going through changes or when you respond to changes in your personal world. A cradle angel wings aspect pattern involving Mars in Cancer, Uranus in Taurus, Pluto in Aquarius, and Saturn, North Node, Neptune in Pisces, conjunct Venus in Aries, can give you hope that there is a divine order, you are on the right path, and a positive outcome is in the not too distant future. But while Mars in Cancer is trine to Saturn in Pisces and square to Chiron in Aries, the phrase, God helps those who help themselves, is worth remembering. Inspired or creative ideas or plans must be followed up with conviction and commitment to the work of creating a better future together, which might require you to evolve into someone you have never been before. But I assure you, everyone has access to the qualities of all 12 zodiac signs in their chart. So, yeah, it's a biggie. It's a big full moon. Let's take a look at the overall patterns. You can see that red triangle there. That's the T-square. And the planet of change, Uranus, is in a money and values, very material, sensual, physical sign, looking toward the future, interacting with Aquarius planets, and this is the ruler of Aquarius. So this amplifies that feeling of change in the air, as well as the reactions, the extreme reactions, sometimes unexpected, to things that are occurring. And the moon, mixed energy here with the trine to Chiron in Aries, and making that T-square, the opposition to the Sun and Mercury. Hang on for a bumpy ride, and I would say go easy on judging, but keep a really keen eye on everything, and then question, is this real? Is this true? And look for the facts and the information, particularly in your interactions with other individuals, or if you are hearing things from people potentially in authority. I just didn't have the room to write it all, but we have another square in the sky right now, and that is going on between Jupiter in Gemini, which is mutable air and presents multiple options or ways of thinking. It's very creative and imaginative, but the imagination creativity flowing out of air compared to the creativity that comes from fire of Leo, both outgoing and social signs. The square that this is forming to Saturn in Pisces, which is now just far enough away from the North Node, Neptune, Venus, that those three are kind of a cluster together, and Saturn will be moving forward and catching up in a little bit to Neptune, but in the meantime, there's a little bit of space in there, so that Saturn's kind of feeling this square a whole lot more than the cluster of Pisces Aries energy is feeling it. And Saturn is authority, mastery, duty, responsibility. I look at it as the brake pedal and Jupiter the gas pedal. And I also look at this square as how you perceive a story, or whether you're creating a story. And if you are not looking at things realistically because you don't want to, because you're avoiding it, because it would be uncomfortable for you, or if you're procrastinating on doing something that you know you need to do. And if procrastination is the issue, then Mars squared to Chiron will eventually make it so uncomfortable, or, you procrastinate to a point that nobody's going to come in and help you. You're going to have to figure out how to go fix your problem for yourself, or get whatever it is done that you need to get done on your own. And Chiron's certainly giving you the ability to work those things out and to be a contributor to the greater whole as well. It's definitely not a time to sit out. However, it is a time to consider, where are you involving yourself? Who are you involving yourself with? What truths are you supporting? And what of your own talents, because Leo is the innate natural talent that we want to express for our own pleasure, and Aquarius energy is where we take that talent out there in service to the larger community or the world. So what are you bringing into that? And if you have not basically accepted your own personal talent or genius, then you have the support through the cradle angel wings that we see here to go up to a higher level, and the support to actually start being involved or becoming active in doing something. Walk your talk, basically. So it's a busy sky, and people who snooze will lose, really. It is time to be moving energy, and it will be increasingly more so as we go into the spring and the early summer, and we begin to have outer planets making major shifts. Pluto was the first one we experienced recently, where it came out of its last retrograde in Capricorn, moved into Aquarius, and I do think that things are going to seem more dramatic and more drastic. There will be a lot of upheaval for a while. We're going to deal with stuff and settle down a bit in stages, because it's never just one planet that's doing something. It's a combination of planets all doing their own thing at different rates of speed. We are going to have Saturn and Neptune joining each other in the third week in May. That will be a big shift when they both enter Aries. It is the end of March when Neptune enters Aries, comes out of Pisces. And then the third week in May, we have Saturn make that shift. Then we're going to have Jupiter moving into Cancer, and I believe that that is in June. And then we have Uranus moving into Gemini, and I think that's in July, without opening up my trusty ephemeris here off the top of my head. Those are the months ahead that those major planets are all going to shift into different signs, and we are going to have to catch up with the new programs that they bring. This is an excellent time to basically build up your muscles on all levels, on the mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual, and to not repress yourself in any way. Let's take a look at the Sabian symbol, and we round up to 25 degrees. A large camel is seen crossing a vast and forbidding desert. Keynote: self-sufficiency in the face of a long and exhausting adventure. Well, it definitely feels similar to what we have right now, with a very unknown future and things changing rapidly around us and some looking quite hostile. The camel here represents a living organism that is able to sustain itself independently of its environment at the start of a trying journey. The original formulation of the symbol did not refer to a man on camelback. The organism carries within itself what is absolutely needed for survival. At the deeper human level of consciousness, it is easy to see the value of self-reliance and self-sufficiency as one enters the occult path leading to a more dynamic and more inclusive realm of existence. The camel carries water within its body, and it is said that the dromedary is able to utilize the matter stored in its large protuberance as food. The suggestion here is that in order to be released from bondage to the old world, we should be completely self-contained emotionally. Having absorbed the mental food which this old culture has given us, we are ready to face the desert, nothingness, sunya, until we reach the new world. We need total independence from our surroundings and utter self-reliance. Well, that's a pretty extreme Sabian symbol. I don't know if any of us can truly say that we are entirely self-reliant. It is difficult to move through life and not have some reliance upon some other person or agency. If you're a step ahead of everybody else and you have your little place off there in the woods and off the grid, and you are growing your own food and you're collecting your rainwater and you're generating your solar power, good for you. Good for you. But I believe on the emotional level, to have the confidence in self that you are able to face that new world or the unknown is important. And that is something that the Aries, Leo, Aquarius energy that dominates today can definitely help you toward a greater reliance upon yourself and your inner qualities and your connection to your creator and your sense of beingness or purpose, which we definitely have emphasized by that North Node with Neptune and Aries in that overall pattern here, with the minor grand trine with Pluto in Aquarius and Jupiter in Gemini. And we have the other minor grand trine here that pulls in Saturn, Uranus, and Mars. But it's still requiring the dynamic of doing some work and thinking and being bigger, aiming for something grander or more in order to get through the challenges that are represented here within the two squares and the larger T-square pattern. Creativity and courage are the keynote when the moon is in Leo, and heart connectedness And the Sun and Mercury in Aquarius, the genius quality, the ability to look ahead and get to a solution to a problem, get the information or knowledge that's needed quickly. And it's all directing toward the need for something to change and the action to be taken that produces the change for the better and for the well-being of everybody. There is a togetherness with Jupiter in Gemini. And as we go into Jupiter in Cancer this summer, it becomes that much more needs aware and nurturing. So now is the time for the planning and the creating and the communicating. All right. I think that's it. And take care, stay safe. We do have a square and an opposition involving Mercury and strong impulsive energy. It is not Mercury retrograde right now, but whenever Mercury is under some duress or tension, it can definitely feel that way. And impulse is some of the energy that we have going on there. People jumping very quickly or behaving a bit erratically. So watch your driving and watch your words. And I'll see you in 2 weeks.